Hey everyone, and welcome back to All Things Space. Now let's get into the video. Scientists at NASA's Johnson Space Center found something very unexpected in a Martian crater. Using the Curiosity rover, the scientists detected something strange that defied previous existing notions about chemistry. To find out more about how a Mars probe discovered something unusual on the planet's surface, keep watching this video. But before we begin, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Unusual discoveries made on our potential next home.
We're super excited to actually share with all of you video imagery of Perseverance landing on the surface of Mars.
NASA's Curiosity rover measures intriguing carbon signature on Mars. Scientists disclosed that many powdered rock samples gathered from the surface of Mars by NASA's Curiosity rover are rich in a form of carbon linked with life activity on Earth. While the discovery is exciting, scientists have yet to uncover definitive evidence of ancient or contemporary biology on Mars, such as sedimentary rock formations generated by ancient bacteria or a diverse range of complex organic compounds made by life. Well, recently, the Martian probe has discovered images of door-like cuttings in Martian mountains as well. We're finding things on Mars that are tantalizingly interesting, but we'd really need more evidence to say we've identified life, said Paul Mahaffey, the principal investigator of NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center's Sample Analysis at Mars, SAM, chemistry lab, aboard Curiosity, until his retirement in December 2021. We're looking at what else, if not life, might have created the carbon signature we're seeing. Curiosity scientists provide potential theories for the odd carbon signals they observed in a paper published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences journal on January 18. Their theories are based in part on carbon fingerprints on Earth, but experts caution that the two worlds are so unlike that conclusive conclusions can't be derived from Earth's instances. The Perseverance rover made similar discoveries in 2021 as well. The struggle of accepting life elsewhere. The toughest part is letting go of Earth and the bias that we have, said Goddard astrobiologist Jennifer L. Eigenbrode, who participated in the carbon research. Eigenbrode previously led an international team of Curiosity scientists in the detection of a wide range of organic molecules on the Martian surface. Eigenbrode said, "We need to broaden our thoughts and look beyond the box, and that's what this study accomplishes." The scientific explanations of life on Earth have guided the scientists in their research and has inspired them to pursue similar conditions on a second planet. In the particular case of Mars, it involves ancient surface microorganisms that would have formed a distinct carbon signature when they released methane into the sky, where UV radiation would have changed the gas into bigger, more complicated molecules. These new molecules would have showered down to the surface and might now be retained in Martian rocks by their unusual carbon signature. Non-biological discoveries that push scientists to consider it as a second home. Non-biological reasons are offered by two more theories based on our discoveries on Mars. One theory is that the carbon signature was caused by UV light interacting with carbon dioxide gas in the Martian atmosphere, resulting in new carbon-containing molecules that sank to the surface. The carbon might have been left behind from some rare occurrence hundreds of millions of years ago, when the solar system went through a large molecular cloud rich in the sort of carbon discovered, according to one theory. All three interpretations suit the data, said Christopher House, the lead researcher on the carbon study at Penn State. All we need now is additional information to rule them in or out. The tunable laser spectrometer (TLS) equipment within the SAM lab was used by House's team to study carbon on the Martian surface. To liberate the gases within, SAM heated 24 samples from geologically varied places in the planet's Gale crater to around 1500 degrees Fahrenheit, or 850 degrees Celsius. The TLS then measured the isotopes released by part of the reduced carbon during the heating process. Isotopes are atoms of the same element with varied weights, owing to their variable numbers of neutrons, and they're important for figuring out how planets evolved chemically and biologically. Carbon is especially significant, since it is present in all forms of life on Earth. It moves continually through the air, water, and Earth in a cycle that can be tracked through isotope studies. But is carbon enough reason to give Mars importance? In contrast to the heavier carbon-13, living animals on Earth employ the smaller, lighter carbon-12 atom to digest food and for photosynthesis. Thus, the presence of much more carbon-12 than carbon-13 in ancient rocks together with other data, lead scientists to believe they're looking at life-related chemical fingerprints. Earth scientists can identify what form of life they're looking at and what habitat it lived in by looking at the ratio of these two carbon isotopes. In comparison to what scientists have detected in the Martian atmosphere and meteorites, Curiosity researchers have discovered that roughly half of their samples on Mars contain shockingly substantial quantities of carbon-12. According to the researchers, these samples come from 5 different areas in Gale Crater, which may be linked since all of them have well-preserved old surfaces. Biological activities on Earth would create the carbon signal we're observing on Mars, House said. We need to figure out whether the same reason applies to Mars or if there are alternative possibilities, since Mars is so different. Mars is special because 4.5 billion years ago, it may have had a different combination of carbon isotopes than Earth. Mars is similar, colder, has lower gravity, and has a different atmosphere with distinct gases. Furthermore, carbon on Mars might be cycling without the presence of life. Do these discoveries suggest Martians might exist? There's a significant portion of the carbon cycle on Earth that includes life, and because of life, there's a chunk of the carbon cycle on Earth that we can't explain. Andrew Steele, a Curiosity scientist at the Carnegie Institution for Science in Washington, D.C., said. Steele pointed out that scientists are still learning how carbon cycles on Mars work, and as a result, how to interpret isotopic ratios and the non-biological processes that can use them. Curiosity, the first rover to land on Mars in 2012, is equipped with instruments to examine carbon isotopes in the surface. Other missions have gathered data on isotopic signals in the atmosphere, and scientists have studied the ratios of Martian meteorites brought back to Earth. Trying to understand how life may fit into the carbon cycle on Mars requires defining the carbon cycle, Steele added. We've done it successfully on Earth, but we're just now starting to define that cycle for Mars. The continued search for life on Mars. When the rover explores additional spaces suspected of having well-preserved ancient surfaces, Curiosity scientists will continue to test carbon isotopes to see whether they receive a similar signal. The Curiosity team would want to study the carbon content of a methane plume produced from the surface to further evaluate the biological hypothesis involving methane-producing microbes. The rover came across a plume like this in 2019, but there's no way of knowing whether it will happen again. Otherwise, the team behind NASA's Perseverance rover will benefit from this research, which will advise them on the best sorts of samples to gather in order to validate the carbon signature and identify definitely whether it comes from life or not. Perseverance is gathering samples from the Martian surface, with the hopes of returning to the Earth in the future. With that, we come to the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell so you don't miss out on future videos. If you enjoy the content, then do leave a like. So until next time, take care and goodbye.